episode 71 of the Unscripted Company podcast. And thanks to our lovely sponsors, Applebee's, eating good in the hood. We are live for the second week in a row. This is groundbreaking technology live on Rumble, thanks to our sponsors, Applebee's. Go check out their new Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp. You'll love it. It sizzles on the platter. Riley, tell the world, what's your favorite Applebee's entree that I know you just crave? You wake up and you're like, gotta get me a bite of this.
Dude, can I be honest that throughout my tenure working at Applebee's, my favorite...
That's how excellent of an establishment our lovely sponsor Applebee's is. Not only do you become employed of them, you have a 10-year.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it. Let's be honest. The best part about it was the people that gave me their money.
Fair.
They were cool people, but yeah. No, so my entree actually does not exist there anymore. Actually, it was one of two entrees that I used to get. So one of them was the chicken fried chicken. And this was like when I first started at Applebee's, like over a decade ago.
That was definitely before my time because I was not aware that was even.
Yeah, they had a chicken fried chicken that it wasn't like on par with like Cartwright's, like the size wise, but it was still a thick, like it was good. The only other entree that they don't serve there anymore that I wish that they still did was the crispy brewhouse chicken. You remember that?
I remember that. That was good.
That was probably like.
Didn't they serve it? They served it like on a bed of mashed potatoes too, right?
Yeah, with some crispy onion strings, what they called their brew house gravy, which was like a brown gravy, some melted cheese on it, and then I would always get like the side of the 4-cheese mac and cheese before they started going like cheap on us on that, and it stopped being freshly made and it went to the bag being made. So
yeah,
but that used to be kind of like my meal. Like I used to get that, but over time, the quality of everything just went down, and I used to just stick with like appetizer-based stuff because you kind of get like the best bang for your buck with a lot of that stuff. And so that's kind of where that's at.
That being said, for all of you hanging out with us tonight, or if you're listening to this after the fact, go check out your local Applebee's. Tell them Riley and JK from Unscripted Company sent you, and they will give you half-price appetizers after 9 o'clock if you go and just mention the show. We'll love to hear your experience with that. Riley's just so overjoyed with the fact that we have a corporate sponsor that's willing to give our listeners half-price appetizers during the late nights. So it's very cool. With that being said, 71 episodes in, 71 weeks. Crazy to think about it. That's more than a year because a year is 52 weeks. Mm-hmm. How you doing this week? How's the world of Riley going?
The world is ongoing, to say the least.
I'd be worried if it wasn't.
Work is work. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been more productive, been more busier. We haven't fully set on a price yet, but I have a listing coming up this week. We're hoping, they're hoping it's going to probably be about 1.2 is what they're thinking.
That's a number.
That is a number. And they're also looking to buy as well, which I'm helping on both ends.
2 for 1 deal.
It is indeed. So for all of our listeners out there, if you're ever looking to move to the McKinney, Texas area, this is a fully custom home on an acre. And not to throw too much out there, but if they make the decision to do so, there could be a Lamborghini in it for you as well. If you offer a full list price of $1.2 million, you get a full Lamborghini Gallardo with it.
I will say, McKinney, Texas, it's got a lot going on.
So scroll into where that New Hope area is.
Where the New Hope over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So go like along 380.
Yep. On the east side of McKinney.
So there's going to be a place over there it's Waterstone Estates. I just don't know exactly where it's at.
It's all good. McKinney's so growing so fast. It's hard to even know. Right. You said, what was it called?
Waterstone Estates.
Waterstone Estates Drive. I'm guessing it's off of that drive. Here we go. Northeast side of McKinney.
Yeah. So that's where it's at.
Very nice. Just north of Lavon Lake. For those of you who like to fish, maybe you like to boat, you got options. It's also got some water. It looks like in the back here. It looks like we got.
It's a little reservoir.
Stiff Creek. Everyone loves Stiff Creek. And also, I love hanging out at Soil Conservation Service Site number 12 Reservoir. Legendary legendary reservoir in northeastern McKinney.
But
That being said, though, McKinney is a nice.
yeah,
It's really not a small town anymore. It's a legitimate, like, good. I don't even. It's weird. McKinney's one of those things where it's. I guess technically nowadays it's a suburb, technically, but historically it's not because it was its own independent town for the longest
yeah,
time, and
yeah.
it's the head of Collin County too, right? That's where the Collin County is like courthouse because they have the town square and all that, right?
I want to say yes, but like now that Frisco and Plano have kind of blown up, that's
I remember for some reason I thought McKinney was the head of Collin County.
it might still they might have shifted it. I could be wrong, but it might still be. Yeah. But either way, I mean, that listing's coming up. I've got people again who are looking to buy, and some people as of late have been asking, "Hey, do you think they're going to come down on the price?" And I'm like, "Hey, let's just put an offer in and see what they say." Because like at the end of the day, I don't want to just keep speculating with people. So I've kind of been not really blunt with people, but like if I am, it's in like a nice like
You've been real. You've been realistic with
yeah, like, and I'm like, hey, let's put an offer in. At the end of the day, like at the end of the day, we're just talking. So it's like I've got a lot of people. Some people have had to take a step back because they've had some personal issues going on. But if I can sell this listing and help them buy, that'll kind of give me a little bit of a buffer for a while. And I can get some stuff paid off, at least maybe pay off one of my student loans. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That's unheard of these days.
Yeah, right.
Truly. I don't know anyone personally. I don't know anyone personally who like took out loans in their own name or like they're on like a Parent Plus loan or something where they've like paid it off yet.
Yeah.
I know of people who like their parents paid for their college and stuff, but like I don't know anyone who took loans out and has actually paid them out in their entirety. So that'd be cool. Be very cool.
So that's kind of what working towards that. And then I've got some. I think we've kind of talked about a couple of the ideas, but I know I didn't get to talk about this last week. But as of last week, I am now officially a certified biblical counselor with ABC Counseling. So
very cool.
Certified level 1 counselor. Didn't get to talk about it last week, but there's that.
Well, we're gonna have to come up with. We'll call it like Unscripted Plus, right? It'll be a premium subscription service for Unscripted Company where we'll have Riley do office hours on, I would say Tuesday afternoons between 3 and 4 Central. And if you subscribe, you'll get one-on-one counseling from Riley himself for our Unscripted Plus subscribers. Be on the lookout for that.
Brought to you by our sponsors at Applebee's, eating good in the neighborhood.
Yes, friendly reminder. Go to them after 9 o'clock. Say Riley and JK from Unscripted Company sent you. They'll hook you up with some half-price appetizers. It'll be good.
Yeah. What about you?
Man, it's been good. Saturday night. Actually, no, Friday night. Sorry. Friday night was very interesting. And Abby and I were talking about this just before I hopped on, and I was like, you know what? I gotta tell this story on the podcast. This was interesting. So some context. In a new build, like just a simple subdivision, right? Kind of on the outskirts of town. So we're kind of like the last stop in civilization in a sense. We're in a cul-de-sac. And so Abby, my wife, went to a concert in Arlington, actually, on Friday. So you did a round trip to Arlington to go see a K-pop concert at the, is that not MetLife? Where do the Rangers play? The new ballpark up there. The new one.
Oh God, I should.
Is it still Globe Life? But it's like Globe Life Field and Globe Life Park or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyways, stunning venue from the photos she showed me. It's crazy. So she did a round trip. She gets back super late, like 2 a.m., something like that, with 2 of her girlfriends they all came to our place to have her drive up, basically. So they get back, and I'm sitting on the couch waiting up for her, watching TV, and she walks in and she goes, there's a girl outside in the cul-de-sac, kind of just only in her underwear, and all the doors on her car are open, and she's walking around barefoot, something to that degree. She just tells me this. And I'm like, this is 2 o'clock in the morning. We're not in a big city. This is a very small former farm town suburb. And I'm like, okay. Let me go walk outside, because the girls are still unpacking the car and everything that they had. So kind of go, trying not to be too awkward. So I go pretend to go grab something out of my car that's parked in the driveway. And I look over at the end of the cul-de-sac, and yeah, there's this Ford sedan with like 2 or 3 of the doors wide open. And I see this girl like walking around the car. And at the time, I don't know her age. I can barely see her. It's nighttime. But I do see she not wearing any pants, doesn't appear to be wearing any shorts. It looks like she's just wearing, you know how like, I don't know if sorority girls still do this, but there's like a thing in college where sorority girls would wear like a big shirt.
They still
And
do that.
they still do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I see it. I hate it honestly, but I'm not gonna go there. But yes, they still do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was that look basically. And so basically just looked like she was wearing an XL t-shirt on a small female body. And I was like, okay, I kind of look over there. And I'm like, this is weird, but she's not like looking at the hood of the car. So like, I'm trying to process in my head. I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And at the time I only see her and I'm like, okay, I don't think her car's broken down because she's not even attempting to look at the hood or anything. She kind of clearly sees me. And so she's not like, she doesn't seem like she's in distress, like actively seeking like, hey, I need your help. Like, help me. So I'm like, okay. So I go back inside. And actually, the room I'm sitting in now, kind of like my home office, just off camera over here, there's a window, and that window faces the cul-de-sac. And I guess for context, we're like the second to last house in this cul-de-sac. So the cul-de-sac is kind of like half permanently empty. And the car is in the empty part, which is what kind of threw the alarms off with Abby at first. Was like, there's no homes over there. So like, why is there a car there, first of all? And we know who the neighbors are, and we know what those cars are. And the neighbor next to us hasn't even moved in yet. So there's not even a car there theoretically. And so I'm kind of like peeking out my window and she keeps walking around the car and it looks very eerie. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stare for a while trying to figure out like what is happening here. Cause Abby is wanting to call 911 because we don't have 311. We're in a small enough town. So it's like, even if it's not an emergency, it's still like 911 to get just cops out here just to take a look. In my head, I'm not thinking it's like an emergency, but I'm like, let me look for a little bit to determine.
You just call the local PD out there. Like, you don't even have to call just call the full police department number. Just say, hey, like there's someone out here. I don't think it's an emergency, but could you come send somebody out here?
Yeah, but Abby making the right decision ultimately, she ends up calling 911, and she gives them a description, whatnot. Shout out to, I'm not going to name the town because I don't want to give away too much info, but shout out to this town's police department. Dude, it was like 10-minute response time. 3 cop cars showed up. Like,
I doubt that would happen here.
Like it's much smaller population. So it's like, and we're kind of close to like a substation. So I'm like, all right, but still, I'm like, if something were to happen, cross my fingers, good response time.
Yeah, just buy a gun, man. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I do have one, but in the sense of like, we're also by a fire department too. So I'm like, okay, I'm like taking notes as a homeowner. I'm like, I got good response times for this.
I would say, yeah, getting those ratings for those two is important. But anyways,
yeah. So yeah, 3 cars show up, like 6 officers in total, basically 2 per car. And we see them talk to her for a little bit. We're like peeking through the window in this room over here and we're basically creeping, but strategically. And we see them like walk her away. This is like over a course of like 45 minutes of like watching the cops talk with them. We come to find out there's a second person in the car, a guy. And we're like, in my head, I'm like trying to think through this. I'm like, okay, I'm like, this is a small former farm town. I'm like, there's no way this is like a prostitute, but I'm like trying to piece these things together. Right. Long story short, over the course of like over an hour, they end up walking her away. We don't know where they walk her to. And we're like, oh, this is interesting. Okay. And then we see the guy also kind of gets like walked to a cop car and they put him in a cop car. No handcuffs or anything, but we're still just like, they lock the car and then they kind of drive away. And when Abby first called the police department, they asked, do you want a call back from the officer that takes the call? And she's like, yeah. So the officer calls back and he's like, we have the crime of a century going on here. And his tone kind of gave it away, but she goes outside because I kind of wanted to be anonymous about this whole thing, but she goes outside and talks to the officer for a second. And long story short, come to find out, the girl is like a 14-year-old girl from like 3 houses down from here who snuck out of her house with her boyfriend, who was the other guy. But in the process of sneaking out, apparently at some point, the boyfriend got like violently sick. And so another house down from us, he like threw up in their driveway. And for some reason, they drove his car that he picked her up in, like literally they're 3 houses down from us. And they just drove 3 houses this way, I guess, into the cul-de-sac. And he was like sick in the back of the car, and she was just going from side to side of the car, I guess, trying to figure out what next steps to take in this whole thing. It didn't seem like her parents were home. Abby interacted actually with what we think was the older sister, because she actually came outside whenever the cops were here, because like, these modern cop cars, they have these like LED lights on top of them. So,
Right.
they lit this street up last night. It was
Everyone's
like,
probably coming out and be like, what's going on?
basically. So long story short, we busted the teenage daughter down the road for sneaking out with her boyfriend. But then the boyfriend like threw up on the neighbor's like driveway, and like it's like a good thing, but also like
I mean, overall, I mean,
it's weird.
I mean, she still made the right decision in like
Yes,
calling it, because
very
you
much
never
so.
know. You never know.
Exactly.
Like he could
Yes.
have taken something, and he could have been dying in the backseat of that
Yes.
car.
And apparently they were not intoxicated. So like apparently that wasn't a concern also.
Okay.
And also his parents weren't home, and so that's why he ended up going with the cops, because they were like, well, if we can't like get a hold of your parents, like they were both my kids, like he was 16 apparently. So it's like they're minors. So it's like you can't just like
I mean,
not
couldn't
go
the
home.
sister have taken him to, like, theoretically, she'd be like, hey, like, he lives not too far from here. We'll take him in.
That's the thing, is I don't know where he lives.
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
But that's
This is all at like 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, Friday
I mean,
night.
here's the thing though. It's like, I don't know why I never snuck out. Like, at least,
We never
yeah,
did either. That's what we were just like, like it's a weird thing. Because it's also like it is a small town. And like I get it. I kind of grew up in a small town, and it
I
grew up
did
to be a
too.
not small town. And like I get it, kids do stuff like this, but also in my head, I'm like, you shouldn't. Oh, also, I don't think I mentioned this. When we see her like walking around the car during all this time, she's barefoot. Like there's like, it's just like it was a weird thing of like she only had a t-shirt on,
How do you sneak out and then not go
barefoot.
prepared? Like,
I don't know.
like if
I
you
don't
sneak
know.
out, like you go out with shoes, a full shirt, something. But
Yeah.
and then it's like that much.
We're trying to
that could-
diagnose this whole situation. We're like, does she live in her car? Is she on drugs? Like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, was there a house party somewhere? And maybe she like realized, she's like, oh, I can't drive home. Like, let me just park here and try to sleep it off. But she kept,
Maybe.
but like between 7 and 10 times, we saw her get out of the car and like Chinese fire drill it and get back in the car. That was what was like, something's weird here. Still have no explanation for like the thought process there. She was a 14-year-old teenage girl though, so I'm like, I have no idea what went on there. So that being said, with Unscripted Plus, I'm gonna gift her a premium subscription, so that way Tuesdays for office hours, I don't know, maybe
She
maybe
can
some counseling.
come hear about her Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
At this point, I mean, I think they're a good Catholic family. I'm stereotyping hardcore right now by saying that, but
It's always the Catholics family that have the kids that sneak out. Like
Yes.
it's weird. Like I mean,
Yeah.
not bringing them down by any means, but it's like it's funny how it's like kids like that are very sheltered are the ones that want to sneak out even more. But it's like like my parents, again, I grew up in a small town also.
Yeah.
So it's like growing up in a small town, my parents, like they gave me a lot of freedoms for a lot of stuff, and which ultimately, like having that one incident that happened that, I had to spend the night in jail kind of thing like that. But that was like, that one thing, and it happened when I was an adult, but it was kind of one of those things, like they gave me enough freedoms that it's like, I didn't feel the need to sneak out.
Yeah.
Like I also worked at a job too, that if I wasn't going to be, I got home at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So it's like, if they knew I wasn't coming home, then I would just let them know. So, and I got good grades in
Exactly.
school, all this other kind of stuff. So it's not like it matter, but it's like kids nowadays, man. It's like parents. It's like I feel like you can't win with kids nowadays. You give them too much freedom and they take it. You don't give them enough freedom, they're gonna take it anyways. It's like you can't win. And people ask me like, "Well, do you want to have kids?" Not really.
Dude, it's crazy to think about that. Like, because they're like, we are at the age where it's like friends are wanting to have kids, and it's like where they are having kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm like, okay.
But it's like y'all, a few other people that I know of, like y'all are just like, yeah, we're not trying to do all that. It's like I got nieces and nephews that I love to death, and I'll spoil them, like every which way I can, every opportunity I get, I'll do my best to. And it's like I can't do that any other way. So it's like,
yeah, But if any of our listeners out there do have kids or are aspiring to have kids, let me tell you, Applebee's has a fantastic kids menu, man. If you just go hit them up, they'll hook you up with a good kids menu.
And maybe, depending on which Applebee's you go to, if you go in there and tell them Unscripted Company sent you, especially on Tuesdays, they'll give you a kids eat free.
I forgot that was a bonus that they gave us for the podcast subscribers. Yeah, if you go in there Tuesdays and you tell them Riley and JK from Unscripted Company sent you there, your kid might be able to eat for free. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they may request you purchase one entree, but just tell them Riley and JK sent you, and they'll hook you up. Don't you worry.
For sure. So y'all are all probably wondering why we're live right now. So we kind of made the executive decision. I know we hinted at it last week, and I know we were honestly probably going to wait till season 3 started because we were actually halfway through season 2, pretty much.
When does season 3 actually start? I'm just going to ask you this live on air. When's the cutoff for that? I'm chill with whatever that answer is.
Every 50 episodes is the end of a season.
Okay.
So because we'd already hit 50 episodes, and I was like, let's kind of just start, so every 50 episodes is a season. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So January will be I think episode 100, and so as soon as that episode's over with, episode 101 will be the first start of season 3. And we try to make changes as we go, but this is a change that we were like, well, we kind of like interact. We love interacting with people through our TikTok and just different things like that, and we feel like this would give a more opportunity for people to interact. So for the viewers that do come in, please don't be afraid to interact in the chats. We love it. We want to talk to you. We want to, your whatever your thoughts are. We'll shout out your name and what you're saying and everything, and we'll just chat about it. We'll talk about it. And so that's just the growing company that we so are looking to have here. So yeah, we made the executive decision that from here on out, the live streams are no longer going to be just every 5th episode, but we are going to be live streaming every single Sunday, starting roughly about 8:15. And this gives us the opportunity too, that if we have more openings throughout the week that we want to start hopping on and doing this, even if it's for a 30-minute live stream or just something, just, little small, whatever, we can do so. So from here on out, you're going to be getting Unscripted Company live every single Sunday. So,
and that's exactly why I named this one. You feel that? Changes in the air. Also, there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of just in the news. I know Riley has a news story we'll probably talk about here in a second about this woman in Pennsylvania who just took a dookie on a car. I guess that's the best way to put that. I don't know if it helps with the aerodynamics of it or it helps with the fuel mileage, stuff like that. But
I wish I could find the original video, man, because when I saved the reel on Facebook, I'm not even kidding. I didn't expect to see it, but man, it just all over the hood of that car, and she did it without any remorse either. You get there's photos of her, and you can just see her face, and she's like, "That's right, I did that." No remorse whatsoever.
The question is, how good was the fiber at that point? Was it?
Or what kind of fiber it is? Where's she getting it at? What's going on here?
Yeah. Is it like an Applebee's induced one or no? But yeah, there's been a lot going on. I know one thing I'll hit on is we kind of had, maybe still have, Battle of the Titans going on.
A civil war in the White House going on right now.
Kind of. You have President Donald Trump versus billionaire, basically trillionaire, Elon Musk. They had a little spat on Twitter this past week. I don't know how you feel about this. I still feel weird calling it X. I'm aware it's X, and I'm fine with that. But I feel like when I say it out loud, I always have to just say Twitter because it feels weird saying yeah, I saw that on X.
I don't feel like it's weird. It's just hard to kind of I usually say Twitter first, and then I say, oh, my bad, it's X actually. I do correct myself on that. I don't think it's weird. I'll be honest, it kind of suits it more, if I'm being honest.
The unfiltered chaos of it.
Exactly. It's you went from Twitter to then everything getting censored on Twitter to then Elon Musk is like, no, you're not. And he buys it and he's like, we're going to call it X from now on. So it means you can say whatever you want and do whatever you want. And then he has the ability to censor the stuff that he doesn't want on there, because some people are going to come off in there and say the wrong things. But it's it's actually, it is a platform people can say whatever they want on. And I don't post a lot of stuff on there, I don't even really comment on a lot on there. I just kind of, same as you, I use it for news stuff and, Like I have 3 different accounts. I have a business one, I have a personal one, and then I have business one, personal one, and the
Oh wait,
unscripted
you
company.
have 3 X accounts?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
I had one. So when I tried streaming and I had my
Yeah,
streaming name and stuff like that, I made one for that.
that makes sense.
Um, and then I signed into it, but I never use it. But it was just I followed like a bunch of gaming channels and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't really even use that one, but then I have my personal one that I can use for business or whatever. And I follow like a lot of like real estate news stuff, things like that. But then the unscripted company one is the one where I tend to follow like, all the news stations that we follow and stuff like that. So we can get like those fresh bits and it gets us more in the algorithm of that kind of stuff. So I followed like the same ones on both of those accounts, but the unscripted company, I leave it for certain things, and then my personal, I do it for certain things. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. So, what do you want to start off with first? I mean, I can dive into Elon or Trump if you want, or do you want to start off with? I know you also have something with Trump talking about preparing wide scale cancellation of federal funding to California universities.
So I don't know about you, but I feel like we need to have a climax of the show. So
Okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
that could be the climax of the show, because there's probably gonna be a lot to talk about on that,
Yeah.
because I've kind of been keeping up with a little bit of it, not a lot, but I've been seeing essentially Trump was like, "Hey, like you no longer have your position, like you're kind of done." And now Elon is like, and it's so, again, we'll get into it, but it's just so funny because it's like they were like this, like at the
They
beginning of
were.
his election, and now it's just like, what's happening? Like, did something else happen behind the scenes? So I'm down to start with pretty much everything else that does not have to do with Musk or Trump.
All good. I got something that can start us off with a little bit of electricity here because I don't know, from your perspective in the DFW, if you've heard so much about this, are you aware that we have a potential serial killer in Austin? Have you heard this?
I have not heard that. Although there was something similar. I heard like up in like the North Texas area, but
So I'll play this news story to kind of set us up, but just to give some context, they're going to reference like Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake. It's the same body of water. Basically, you have the Colorado River that runs through Texas, and the Colorado River runs through downtown Austin. They dammed it up, turned it into a lake, had different names over different years. They found 38 bodies thus far in here, and they aren't willing to admit that's a serial killer quite yet. So take a listen.
There have been at least 38 bodies found in or around Lady Bird Lake since 2022, according to data obtained by Fox 7. Of those, 30 were male. About 60% were between the ages of 30 and 49. Only 2 of them were teenagers, including the body found on Tuesday.
Another paddleboarder was here out on Lady Bird Lake and notified us that it appeared that an individual was deceased and floating on Lady Bird Lake.
While the latest body to surface in the lake has not been identified yet, Austin police believe it's likely the teenager who went missing on Sunday. He was paddleboarding and kayaking with his family. We're told he got off to stand in shallow waters, but unknowingly was near an underwater shelf, which is a sudden drop-off in the lake.
At some point during their paddleboarding session, one of the individuals went missing from their family.
He stepped or slipped off and never resurfaced. His backpack and life jacket were still on the board.
The individual that we have today is wearing the same clothes as the person that was reported missing Sunday evening,
making him at least the 7th body of 2025 in Lady Bird Lake. In the past 3 years, the causes of death have mainly been attributed to accidental drownings. Second is suicide, as well as drug overdoses and natural causes. Only 1 case has been ruled a murder. About half a dozen of these cases remain unknown. The Austin Police Department continues to reiterate that there's no reason for them to believe these deaths are connected.
oh my gosh, can you imagine just? I've often asked myself this question, like, what if I became a cop, and then I see stories like this, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I could handle that. Like, I know people have a bad look on police officers and law enforcement, but
Yeah.
they truly, there are some bad ones. I'm not gonna say there's not, but
There's
when
a
you
few
see,
bad apples, but overall,
like when you see the good ones out there that are doing the best that they can and truly just want to help people and protect people. And
yeah.
then you see the videos of the people that throw a huge fit whenever a cop is just trying to ask them politely to do something. And they, either way, aside from that, just seeing stuff like this, like, dude, I don't know if I could do that, man. I don't know if I could ever do that.
Now, what's crazy is they didn't speak about it in this particular news story because this is recent about an actual kayaker. A lot of the people they're finding in Lady Bird Lake are young men who are going to what's called Rainy Street. So Rainy Street in downtown Austin, for those who aren't aware, it basically was a neighborhood for like 99% of the street's existence. Only over the last like decade, it's now skyscrapers and like entertainment area. So like high-end bars, things like that.
Right.
Picture, I guess if you're in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area, picture like Uptown, I guess, very
Highland
high
Park.
scale,
Yeah.
but like you still get like college students, but like uppity college students.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. And so a lot of these like guys are basically going missing while they're out on the town, and then they surprisingly just show up in the lake dead the next day. But there's no, Austin police hasn't made like a formal connection between all of these yet to warrant it. But if you just go anywhere on social media and just type in Austin serial killer, there's been people who, you know how there's a lot of crimes that are like surprisingly solved by true crime podcasters because they actually take the time to like dig into stuff.
Right.
It's kind of one of those situations where a lot of people are starting to connect the dots of like, oh, these people are all going to like similar areas. They're following similar pathways, stuff like that. 38 bodies.
Will you pull up the graph real quick?
Yeah.
On that video? Because this is kind of where like, I'm not saying that there's not a serial killer by any means, but it's like usually with serial killers, unless you're just like a Michael Myers, like, you know, fictional character where it's like you'll just kill anything and everything, which he did. What kind of throws me off here is that, so like, okay, so out of this is all 38 bodies, right?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe not all of them are done by the same person, but you have to look at the patterns here. So 61% of them are ages 30 to 49. So like when you look at the teenagers, that could just be a drug overdose. That could be a drowning, something like that. And the 20 to 29 could also be drug overdoses or suicide, stuff like that. Because they're actually like, I think the highest percentage of male suicides in the US is I think it's the age 30 to 49 range, if I'm not mistaken. It's either that or it's the 20 to 29. But then how do you explain the 13% of the 50 to 64 and the 13% of the 65 plus?
Yeah.
That could be anything. Like, I'm not necessarily saying they were murdered, but that could be anything. It just really goes to show, though, that, I mean, there is that pattern there of that, you know, that there's a large amount of people that are in that age range that are, you know, dead essentially. So,
and what's interesting, if you just Google Austin serial killer, there's actual news stories that have the headlines talking about the what ifs of this. Reputable news sources like Hindustan Times, but you also have like Newsweek, Unilad, iHeart, My San Antonio, Daily Mail, local news. But it's people are starting to ask questions.
Well, just keep that thing on you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really go downtown that much, if at all, anymore.
Right. But you never know, man. Usually if they start in one area and they feel like something's kind of happening and going on, people are catching on to them, they'll start migrating to different areas and stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
Like that's why I don't let her go anywhere by herself. If we have to go anywhere, like, or if anything needs to be done in the evening time / nighttime, I tell her, I was like, just come straight home. I'll go do it when I get home or something. Like, I don't let her go by herself anywhere because you never know, man.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't.
Yeah, so that's crazy. But yeah, and how many bodies have they found so far?
28.
28. Oh my gosh, dude, that's insane. That's more than Lake Louisville and Lake Ray Roberts probably have a lot of, because there's actually still people at the bottom of Lake Ray Roberts from that tornado last year.
There's probably people they don't even know a whit missing there that are there.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I mean that's a big state park. Like Lake Ray Roberts is pretty big.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that probably could have gone missing from there, and they just never reported it or never even knew anything about it. Like,
They could have just been like, oh, they left the state, they left the city. It's like, no, they're at the bottom of the lake, dude. Yeah.
they're there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, let me hit you with another quick one real quick.
Go for it.
So, we've been talking about Texas weather a lot in the podcast recently. I saw this, and this is kind of a haha tongue-in-cheek moment, but also could be legitimate. We've talked about weather machines before, right? Are you familiar with the idea of weather machines? Okay. Cloud seeding, all that fun stuff. For those of you listening or watching out there and you're not familiar with the concept of weather machines, this is not conspiratorial or conspiracy theory, I should say. There are machines out there that can seed clouds, meaning they can create artificial clouds for the purpose of creating rain in an area that maybe needs more rain. It happens. Google it. Mm-hmm. Well, people were looking at the radar for a lot of the storms that came through Texas, particularly central Texas. I think some of it went up to North Texas over the last week and a half. I know I talked about this, I think on last week's live stream, how we just had some spouts of some crazy weather. But if you look at this like radar, or what's this called? It's not radar. What do they call this? Weather map. Anyways, look at where all the weather is coming from when I click play here. Notice how it's like all coming from just like east of San Angelo right there.
Well, not even just that, but it seems like that's where it's like forming at, is immediately right there, because it looks like it's all dissipating, and then it's just like this area that's just like kind of pushing it out. But I'm not saying weather machines aren't a thing. Let's be honest, they probably are. Or it's not even a weather machine, but it's like a chemical that they're spraying into the air that causes the different weather to happen, which very well could be, because I mean, we've experienced a huge uptick in weather this year. Like we had a storm.
Aren't y'all getting some storms tonight potentially?
I'm going to be going into that here in a second. But there was a storm that we got like last week, and I was telling Dana, I was like, let's just go to bed. But like, you know where we live at, so
yeah,
the little ravine thing that we have,
was that filling up?
It's not that deep. When she looked out the window, the water was pouring over the side, and it was actually past the trees.
Ooh,
it was. Yeah. I could show you, like, after we get down, like I'll show you a video on my phone. But it was,
for those listening, this is like the purpose of what he's talking about. This like ravine is to help make sure the water that builds up on the parking lot doesn't like stay on the parking lot. It like filters it out, moves it away. So the rain was coming so heavy, so fast, it wasn't able to move water fast enough, so it became like a flood zone, basically.
Yeah, like it was, so like the little bridge that goes over it, the water was almost above that bridge. Like it was bad. Like, and my main concern was like the water's going to hit like close to our building, which it almost was. And I was like, we already have foundation issues already, so this is not going to be good. But it literally stopped raining like 10 minutes after, and then it just eventually all drained out. But it's like, dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about tonight, because we're in like the level 3, level 4 area, like for severe weather tonight. And so I'm going to try to go to sleep, but I mean, there's a very high chance and high possibility for tornadoes in our area. And it's not even just us, but like Dallas County, like I can even kind of just show you.
Yeah. While you pull that up, you know, a safe place that you can go if you really need to.
Applebee's.
Yeah, actually, no, you're spot on. The walk-in fridge at the Applebee's. You can go there, get the hookup, tell them, obviously it's kind of weird that it's your podcast, but tell them the podcast sent you there, get those half-price appetizers.
Yeah, man.
Go chill in the walk-in. Good times.
So yeah, we're in and this is on like the Flower Mound, so like Southern County, like, but it's still an accurate, like, so we're here, like this is where we're at. So we're like almost,
you're in the thick of it.
Yeah. And so we haven't actually had weather like this for a while. Apparently my parents like didn't even know about this, but they were under a tornado warning and the sirens went off. They're fine. They're good. But I was like, cool, thanks for telling me. Like I'm supposed to check in with you guys, but y'all might be in a tornado and y'all aren't telling me about it. So how's it? Yeah. But yeah, so this is supposed to be tonight. Like this is all going to come, pretty quick. The rain's supposed to start about 10, and then it's supposed to happen again at 2 a.m. And I think 9 to 10, and then 2 a.m., and then it starts back up again tomorrow. But tomorrow will be a little bit lighter. So
Yeah, so you have an interesting night ahead of you, to say the least.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you a heavy sleeper, light sleeper? Like, is this going to help you sleep, or is this going to keep you up all night?
It usually, I'll be honest, like I sleep a lot better when it rains out, but I'm kind of like in that position where it's like we don't know our neighbors that well. They always say get to the lowest point. We have nowhere to
Yeah.
go, so it's like, hey, if this is my moment, God, like I'm
Yeah,
just
that's true.
I'm gone. So it is what it is. But we've usually been pretty good about it. But it's just like now we're kind of in a position where it's like we have the cat. So it's like I'm not gonna try to get all that stuff together to go to a Walmart or go somewhere to go sit in the back.
Yeah.
We're gonna get in the bathtub and just close the door and put whatever we can in there to just ride it out and see what happens. Like
Yeah.
that's all we can do.
Yeah.
But I don't anticipate anything like that happening. We're just gonna go to bed, and then I have my phone next to me, so any alerts or anything that comes on, I'll hear it or whatever. So
Yeah.
We'll be good.
It was funny, the old place Abby and I used to live at, it was next to a train track. I always just joke myself. I was like, they always say a tornado headed your way sounds like a train. And I'm like, but there's a freaking train track behind us. So like, I can't tell the difference between the two because I know what that train sounds like. And if I hear that, could be a tornado.
You'll know the difference.
It'll be the train.
You'll know the difference. Those tornadoes, man, especially, just in general. But again, I think we'll be okay. It's probably just gonna be like they're saying that there's a possible chance for a tornado, but I think it's just gonna be a lot of heavy winds. Like we're gonna have a lot of heavy straight line winds that are gonna hit us.
Yeah.
And so after that's done and over with, I'm gonna go talk to my apartment complex. Be like, yo, we need to get some roofers out here because I guarantee it there's some roofing damage, and we need to get that fixed. So let's figure that out.
Yeah. What else you got? Because if not, I can jump into something else real quick if you want. Or
so let's see here. So on top of like your serial killer story, apparently a Denton man kept his fiance's body in an apartment for nearly 2 weeks after shooting. So apparently he killed her.
That's romantic.
And then he kept her body.
That looks like the expression on a face of a guy. I would expect it maybe do that.
So he shot his fiancée weeks before her body was found in their apartment, which, let's be honest here, he kept the body for 2 weeks. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that body started stinking and the smell traveled to other apartments. And people were like, hey, can you come check this out? Because there's no way that he was just going to call and be like, hey, I've got my wife's dead body or fiance's dead body here.
That's not apartment behavior. I live on a farm and I have space to do this.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Apparently he's arrested and charges on murder and tampering with the evidence. And then he reportedly admitted to cleaning the crime scene and lying with the victim for 3 days after her death. So he laid.
Aw, that's cute.
The only thing is, though, is like, it doesn't say why he did it. So who had been alerted to a very foul smell coming from the apartment that he and Wardell had gotten into an argument on May 6th. He said the argument turned physical and claimed Wardell ran at him with a knife, prompting him to shoot her with a shotgun. Oh, so it was...
He had to.
Either way...
That's an interesting...
Because
shotgun.
Who knows, though? I mean, well, here's the thing.
No, you're spot on. I'm just being dumb.
No, yeah. Here's the thing. In defensive situations, and for anyone who's like against firearms, I'm just going to tell you this right now. When I took the class for concealed carry, they actually tell you more times than not in that class that your first line of defense is to try to de-escalate the situation. They never tell you to draw first and ask questions later. Like they always. That's
not the Texas curriculum.
And so they always tell you, hey, de-escalate the situation first or do your best that you can. Like never show your full hand until you absolutely have to, Yeah. Here's the other kicker, though. If there's no cameras in the apartment, it's literally just his word. Like if he had shot and wounded her, that's one thing. I mean, she did have only a knife, so he could have probably wounded her and then called the cops, like saying, hey, I just shot my fiance, like I wounded her. She was coming at me with a knife. And then at the end of the day, it goes to court. But now it's literally just his word. Like they have to take him at his word and they have to prove that that's what happened. And the fact that he cleaned the crime scene is even worse.
Not a good look.
That's not a good look. So it's like, what's going to happen? It just says, the document also says that It was observed that the walls and the floor had been cleaned of blood evidence. Otto reportedly admitted to cleaning the scene, saying it was because he wanted to lay with Wardell, which the document says happened for 3 days after her death. In the initial investigation, a warrant arrest was signed for Otto on a charge of murder on May 28th. He was arrested on Monday. So this was previous information from Denton Police Department said that Otto was arrested at a motel in Mount Pleasant on June 2nd. The affidavit says he told police that he had left his apartment due to the smell. So apparently
Isn't that such a problem? It's like, hey, I killed her, I kept her, but I got really annoyed by the smell, so I left. Like, bro, you got to own up to this at some point.
His bond is set at $160,000. And so they just, I don't know. I don't know if there's probably going to be a trial set, a jury trial as per usual. That's usually how it goes. There's actually one thing I want to look up real quick. If you have anything you want to say on that.
No, I just think it's so ridiculous. I really want to discover my moment. I want my veil moment. It says something special happens when you skip the itinerary and meet the spontaneity of a moment. Oh, there's this beautiful face again. But no, I think it's whatever's coming for him. He's gotta accept that. It's just so weird was it his wife or girlfriend? Fiance, right?
It said fiance, yeah.
God, you just shotgunned your fiance, kept her in the apartment, lied next to her for multiple days. Who knows? Like, hey, hush, hush. Who knows what else he did?
That's what I'm saying, man. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick, because this just popped into my mind because this didn't happen with me, but do you remember a while back that I told you about a Denton chiropractor?
Yes. Yep. Okay. I remember telling me about that.
So
whatever happened with that? Are you about to tell us?
I'm about to tell you.
Oh, only 17 counts? Okay.
So this actually, apparently they were like, things were happening before I even knew about it. So I went and seen this chiropractor last year. I think it was last year. Was it last year?
That sounds about it, because like we've been doing this over a year. So
yeah, because I'm trying to remember so it was last fall ish that I went to go see him, because nothing against the joint, but I kept getting tired of paying that money, not seeing the results. I was like, I need to go see an actual chiropractor, someone who's like gonna
someone local.
Someone that's local that, and I'd known him for a minute, like at least for like a year or two, because I'd met him, during networking and stuff like that. So like, we kind of, knew each other, not like, personal lives, but on a business level. And so in my mind, I'm like, nice guy, cool, awesome. And then I get an email to schedule my next appointment. And then I kid you not, I'm sitting on my couch watching TV one night, and I get a Twitter notification, or X notification, and it says local Denton chiropractor charged with 17 sexual assault accounts. And I was like, what are the chances? Like, because you have to think, Denton's got a lot of chiropractors in the area, like a lot. If you literally just Google Denton, Texas chiropractors, you're probably going to see like 15, and that's not including the joint. And I kid you not, this man pops up on my screen. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he was a nice guy too. Like, that's the thing. His wife worked with him. His wife was the receptionist. And he also there was other practices there. Like, it wasn't just chiropractor, but they had like IVs that you could do, like salines, like you could go there and get rehydrated. They had acupuncture. They had dry needling. They had cryo stuff that you could do. And it's not like they did anything behind closed doors. Everything was done with the doors opened. And I can attest to that because I had gone there, and I don't know all the details. Obviously the detectives, the police officers, they did all this stuff. What was even crazier is, I'm not saying that this happened with her, but the Mayor Gerard Hudspeth, his wife was a client at this place as well.
Yo, makes you wonder who the whistleblower was.
I don't know. And so, but they didn't name names of anyone, but it says that they had totaling 17 charges across 12 different cases. Now, when I first heard about this, there were only like 6 people that came forward and said something. Again, I mean, him doing it with females versus males, but I never really got the hint that he was that kind of guy, 100%. Like we talked about God, we talked about, scriptures, like, again, you really think you know people, but you really never do until stuff like this happens. But yeah, so he's 39 years old and he's set to be arraigned in court Friday on some new charges, but the court appearance was reset for June. So I said, and this was from updated March 14th of 2025. So was that March? Yeah. Updated March of 2025. So I haven't found anything new, but these are
Also,
all
scroll up a little bit. Oh, that ad right there that says fast signs right now. Just a second
Uh-huh.
ago, that was an ad for a chiropractor. Just thought it was kind of funny. It changed though to fast signs.
Yeah.
But
So these are all the different cases that happened. So this goes all the way back to 2023.
dang. Well, hey.
2023.
Yeah, he has an MO.
And I started going around this time frame, something like that. It's weird though, because like you have the dates right here, and then it kind of goes back to 2021. So like that's kind of where it's like it gets confusing at, because it's like, I'm not saying that this has been like an ongoing investigation since 2021, but if it were me and I'm a detective, and I'm not saying I would just throw any evidence out, say like, hey, this isn't worth it. But let's just say we started building this case, like we started getting the first accounts right here. Like these are the first cases that were built against him. Okay. And then it goes 2023, 2023, 2024. And then you get something back from 2021 saying, hey, this happened to me back in 2021. The validity of that, you're like, yeah, I would look into it. But it's like the validity, like you waited 3 years to come out and say something about it. Like I get it, sexual assault.
They might not have felt safe until they knew
True.
other people had come out.
But indecent assault health providers, like, I mean, a lot of these things. So it says Reyes allegedly assaulted or attempted to assault 9 women according to his indictments. The indictments allege Reyes committed or attempted to commit more than one offense against some of the women on the same occasion on different occasions. Now here's my other question though. Let's just say that some of these women are multiple instances, like let's just say like, case 1 was one person and then they come back and it's case 2, like, they had something else that happened to them. If you felt unsafe and something was happening against you, like, why did you go back unless it was to gather evidence for the detectives? Like they had you go back in there to gather more evidence to build a case against him.
Yeah, my guess is that's probably not the case, knowing that this goes back to 2023 and they got him in 2024.
Right.
I have a feeling someone blew the cap off this, and then they probably got a clientele list and started talking to clientele.
Right. Now, it also says, too, the indictments allege he sexually assaulted or attempted to sexually assault some of the women while they were unconscious, physically unable to resist, or unaware the sexual assault was occurring.
Yeah.
I don't know what other practices that they have in that chiropractor's office that you're unconscious. That's just me. I didn't do everything that was there.
Is the person aware that they, maybe they weren't supposed to be unconscious?
True. It says one count states that Reyes compelled one woman to submit or to participate by the use of physical force or coercion. Again, that goes a little bit deeper. The charges against Reyes include 6 state jail felony charges, which each carry punishment of 180 days to 2 years in jail, 3 third-degree felony charges, which carry a punishment of 2 to 10 years in prison, and 8 second-degree felony charges, which carry a punishment of 2 to 20 years in prison. This, if they give him like the full amount on all these, dude's never getting out of jail.
Yeah,
like, it's a wrap.
If you need a new chiropractor, though, the ad went away again. I keep waiting to bring up this ad as a joke. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, there is another one that I may end up going to see. You pay the one fee at the beginning, but they also do X-rays at the same time. So I'm like, cool, like it's a fair price.
Yeah.
But it says because Reyes was previously convicted of a felony offense, namely aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Denton County in 2005. Each of the indictments includes an enhanced paragraph. This gives prosecutors the option to increase the potential punishment for the alleged offenses if he's convicted. An emergency order to temporarily suspend Reyes' chiropractic license became active October 3rd and is still active as of Monday, according to the Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners website.
That's not good.
And as far as I know,
he has a record.
I'm trying to see if I can actually find something as of now.
Yeah.
But let's see. March, it's 2020. Yeah, so like
the odds are not in his favor at this point, I would say. With that many counts of not ideal charges.
No.
Yeah.
And I do feel sorry for the people that had to go through that. 100%. It's never fun to have to deal with stuff like that, and it's never fun for someone to pressure you into that stuff, especially in a business setting like that. But it's like, again, dude, like your wife works with you. Why would you feel the need to, like, even he had his child there some days. Like, I don't know if he did it on those days, or maybe it happened during instances where he was at the office by himself or something. Who knows? But like,
Yeah.
again, man, like it's crazy to think.
Yeah. Crazy indeed. You know what else is crazy?
The half price appetizers at our friendly neighborhood sponsor, Applebee's.
Attaboy. Yes. Yes. For those of you that are listening right now, if you go to your local Applebee's, tell them Riley and JK from the Unscripted Company podcast sent you, and they will hook you up with half price appetizers after 9 p.m. Standard Central Time, or maybe Daylight Central Time. Which one are we in right now? Are we in Standard or Daylight?
We are
in pop quiz. Let's go. Standard.
I think we're in
Daylight.
Standard. Yeah, we're in Standard.
I've never bothered to understand the difference because, like, dude, in emails, I don't know if you ever do this. Oh, I don't know, because maybe you're emailing a lot of people that are also in Central Time. I'll be emailing people that are like Eastern Time, Pacific Time, Mountain Time, stuff like that. And so when I'm trying to get like a meeting scheduled, I'll say like, yeah, like 10 a.m. I'll put like CST, or like I'm like, but is it CST? It could be CDT. Anyways,
dude, I should have done that. Like, I had a closing once. This is why I don't like working with lenders that are not in the state of Texas, because I had a guy that he wanted to work with his own preferred lender, and they were dual licensed. Like, they had a license in Texas, but they were also in Nevada, and so we were supposed to close on one day, and we were waiting on documents. Like, the lender was literally the only thing holding this up, and they sent us documents at 6:00 their time. It's 8:00 our time, and I'm like, well, what are we supposed to do with this? Like, we now have to push closing back a day. And they didn't even act like it, like they acted like it was literally not the end of the world. And realistically, we got it fixed, we closed and everything. But it's like, y'all did not understand the sense of urgency on this. Like, your guys were holding this up. So I refuse to work with any lender that's not in the state of Texas ever again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Do you see in the news? Amazon is preparing to test humanoid robots for deliveries. The robot may ride in Amazon's more than 20,000 electric Rivian vans and deliver packages, according to The Information, which is a news outlet. So, here's the dystopian future. You're going to have this humanoid robot deliver you a package to your door. Second dystopian scenario, you forget to make a payment on your Amazon credit card. This humanoid robot comes to collect. I'm not going to say what it does, but it's going to come and collect. Kind of crazy to see, like, we're going to start seeing these things. Maybe, I mean, you and I might not see them, but people that are in like dense urban Los Angeles and New York and maybe downtown Dallas and downtown Houston and things like that.
Yeah.
We might start seeing these things walking around, like actually delivering packages to doors. Now, I don't know like the logistics behind this, if you're going to have like a human driver on the van and then these things hop out the back. I would assume we're not to that point yet where they can just hop out the back with a package and run up to the door any more efficiently than a human could. But it does make me wonder if Amazon's looking into this. I don't think UPS or FedEx would be that far behind.
My thing is, like, we already have drones that fly and deliver packages already. Why do we need this? Like, I feel like those are more efficient.
You're probably not wrong thinking that. In real time, as I think this through, maybe weight limit, potentially.
That could be it too, yeah, because they can't. But I mean, those are some pretty big drones that they're flying out here, though.
Yeah,
and at least that way, then you're not like, you have to have people controlling those drones. So like, when you're delivering packages, like, what if you just had like a slew, like a fleet of just Amazon drones? So instead of people having to drive around, like, what if you had like a big enough drones that could carry multiple packages? That way, then it's like whatever package is yours, like that's the package that gets to, because like people having to drive around and stuff like that, you know, like You know, depending on what type of van it is, because I know they got the new battery-powered, solar-powered ones, but then you also have the older ones, and then even like UPS drivers, you know, like they still deliver packages. Like I feel like it'd be a little bit more cost-effective just to build drones instead of just having this. You know, that would then you're kind of like, you know, it's just a battery-powered drone, and they could also be solar-powered drones too.
Could be.
And
Could
you
be.
can have people in your Amazon fulfillment centers, like after they get the packages done, guess what? You take the packages over there, you put them all into the cage, and then you just like, or what if you had a humanoid robot that is also on the drone? So that would then when you fly the drone over there, the humanoid robot picks the package up and walks over to the door, gets back on the drone and flies off.
That actually makes a lot of sense, unfortunately. I think once you figure out the weight limit, I think that could be the reality, because the whole thing with the drones is they can't really deliver to apartments because they have to have like a landing zone. Like, so usually it's like someone's like backyard, right? To drop the package in and security and stuff. But if you can drop off the humanoid robot in a parking lot and have it walk up to a unit, that's a lot more doable.
Listen.
I'm also picturing, I think at some point they're, you know, like Waymo, these like driverless cars. I think Amazon would love to get to the point where the van is a driverless van that then drops the humanoid robot out the back.
That could be a good thing too. But the chances, because you have to think, I mean, we've seen videos of like self-driving cars already, and like some of them have caused accidents, some of them don't. I feel like this is a much safer option, because at least then you're still paying a human person to still sit there and control the drones. And not only that, and hear me out, Bezos, if you ever come across this video, listen, I'm not asking for a lot. I promise I'm not. Compared to the amount of money that you have, I'm not asking for a lot. If you will just send me a check for coming up with this idea, it could be anywhere from $500 to $1 million. You know, 500,000 to $1 million. I think that's reasonable. You know,
change.
Yeah, 100%. I will design a custom plan for you to get this off the ground, because here's the thing: we have the technology. The technology exists. Instead of a traditional drone that is operated by propellers, you know, because as you see, like a lot of the big drones, they have just the 6 wings and they have just the propellers. Those typically have a weight limit. But what about a repulsion like technology that it's like you see like in certain like movies and stuff like that, but like even jets have like, you know, instead of it being a fuel thing, but it's an energy based. It's solar powered. And instead of it being like these 6 wings, it's like you have just like a traditional drone that has a cage under it that has all these packages in it. And you have a propulsion system that shoots it forward, but also too has a propulsion system that then transmits to just like a hovering, where then the drone can get the humanoid robot can get off the drone, grab the packages, go deliver them, get back on the drone, and then it goes up and it goes. That would then, it's like, it'd be better. That would be better for apartment complexes, because then it could sit there and hover while it's waiting for the humanoid robot to get the packages and stuff. And next thing you know, then it flies back up and it just goes off to its next destination. I mean, that would then, at least for like heavily populated areas that have a lot of apartment buildings, like Denton is becoming that now. You don't have UPS drivers, you don't have Amazon drivers just driving around all day, but instead you can still use the trucks, I guess, in certain cases, like for neighborhoods and stuff, but it's like for your, you know, your apartment buildings and all your heavy, like, you know, again, I live in Denton, so we have 2 colleges here, 2 universities here. That would be a big thing here.
Yeah. That sounds like $1 million idea right there.
Exactly. Jeff Bezos, listen, I'm not asking for a lot. You don't even know who I am. I'm probably just a speck of dust to you, and that's okay. But I'll be a speck of dust that if you just send me $1 million check for this idea, it's okay. I'll be okay with that, knowing that.
Nice. Well, before we hit the main event of the episode, is there anything else you would like to bring up, go over, etc.?
So just 2 quick things.
Yeah, go for it.
I do want to talk about the woman that decided to
relieve herself.
Yeah, for lack of a better term. So this happened last week. No, actually a month ago. I thought it happened last week. It happened a month ago. This woman, they say she allegedly defecated. The video that I have on Facebook, she 100% projectiled like all over that woman's car. Like not like all over it, but like enough that you could see like she was ready.
Well, there's a news story right here, right? The video.
They don't show the full thing, but let's just kind of.
This is all after an apparent dispute with the That caught on camera is also catching the eyes of police and social media users.
A Delaware County woman is facing multiple charges after she is seen defecating on a car hood. This was all after an apparent dispute with the driver. NBC 10's Lily Zhang was in Prospect Park as the suspect was taken into custody.
The police chief for Prospect Park says he has seen some road rage cases during his career. Somebody cuts someone off, then the drivers might get into a heated exchange, then they typically drive away. But in this case on Tuesday, there was a little more to that, and the incident was captured on video by a bystander.
That video, shared thousands of times on Instagram, shows a woman identified Thursday as Christina Salameto walking to another woman's car. The 44-year-old sits on the hood, or not showing the most graphic parts of the video, including when she appeared to defecate on the car.
I know it's being joked about a lot. I know there's all kinds of puns, innuendo, and humor online about this, but the bottom line is we are treating it seriously. No, it can't happen in this community. No town wants this to happen in their town.
Prospect Park Police Chief David Madonna says it happened by 4th and Madison. Like most people in this neighborhood, police say they too found out about the incident through social media.
I didn't think it was real at first.
We thought it was fake news.
It was hilarious in the same sense. Like, to be able to poop on a car like that was impressive, but it was disgusting at the same sense.
Crazy. She had to go.
Christina, do you have a comment?
Salameto was brought to the Prospect Park Police Department Thursday in handcuffs, offering no remarks.
Wow.
She faces a number of charges, including indecent exposure and depositing waste on a highway.
The recognition a town gets over this kind of thing.
I didn't even think about that. That's technically a charge that they had to come
Madonna
up with.
says with any road rage incident, there's always a level of frustration, but never a need for it to escalate.
There's anger. People are in a hurry to get everywhere. Things are certainly tumultuous in our country, to say the least. There's a lot of anger out there.
Bowels are tumultuous.
Sometimes this is how it presents itself.
Now, we spoke with the suspect's family a little earlier this evening. They did not agree to an on-camera interview, but they claim that there's more to the story than just the video that's being shared. I am told that they are working on getting an attorney. Reporting in Prospect Park, Lily Zhang, NBC 10 News.
Which attorney is going to take this case? Please tell me, other than a public defender, who else is going to take the case of a woman defecating on the hood of a car in a road rage incident?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I was trying to find the
actual video.
I thought I had it saved.
Now that you show this, I've definitely seen the video you're talking about back when it happened. It's been a while though. I bet you, I don't want to be proud that I'm about to find this. I bet you I could find this real quick. Let's see here.
Yeah, because I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm not going to play it, though, because I know if we put this like on YouTube or any other channel that's not Rumble, it's going to get. But yeah, it's exactly what you think it is from the before and after. Here, I'll do an artist rendering of what it looked like just to give people an idea. This is basically what it looked like, but with more of a brown hue to it.
Yeah. Well, I said, but yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, how mad do you have to be in a road rage incident to be like, you know what? I've already got to go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it here.
Especially to do it on demand. That's the wild part.
Yeah. Gosh dang. But yeah, so that happened. If you want to go look up the video, go look it up on your own time.
Yeah.
And leave us, your thoughts, your comments. This very well could be a shorts video that we put on our TikTok. And you can leave us your comments down below on that. The last two things before we get into the stuff, because this one's not a huge thing, but apparently a representative of this, was it Congress? Representative of Congress, Democrat Representative Jerry Nadler's office got raided by ICE.
Oh.
Because of his assistant, I think. She was, I don't know if she was documented, undocumented, I don't know what. But they raided his office, and let's see here, a disagreement over what transpired in Representative Jerry Nadler's office last week, raising stakes at DHS and ICE tactics. Cell phone video shown on CNN shows ICE officers entering Nadler's Manhattan office last week and handcuffing one of his aides, but on Monday there was a disagreement around exactly what occurred. Officers were concerned about the safety of federal employees in the office. One individual became verbally confrontational and physically blocked access to the office. The officers then detained the individual in the hallway for the purpose of completing the security check. So if you hear, I don't know.
It's a FAFO kind of moment. You know?
The way I see it though is like, look, you see all these videos about people, getting arrested and they blame the law enforcement. Literally just get out of their way, let them do their thing. If you did nothing wrong, if you literally did nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about. So when you get stopped by a cop, whatever the case, whatever happens, don't try to fight them just then. If you have a dash cam and you can show it proves that you're innocent, take the ticket, go to court and fight it.
Or you can defecate on the hood of the car.
That too.
Just saying.
But yeah, so again, it says apparently, according to staffers, in barging in, one of the officers, a very big, heavy-set fellow, pushed my aide, a very petite young woman, and then said that she pushed back, and they shackled her and took her downstairs, and she was obviously traumatized. Nadler said he is demanding a congressional investigation. The tactics were totally unacceptable, and they needed a warrant. And my office is a congressional office, he said. It's a completely separate branch of government, a co-equal branch of government, and they had no right to come in. I don't know all the details, but again, it's just they said ICE and the these other officers were there, so who knows what actually was happening there.
I think it's a political power play.
I think it is too. Who knows what's actually happening, because we haven't seen if you think about it, we haven't seen a whole lot of power play moves happening ever since the election happened.
Do you know what's happening in Los Angeles tonight? Have you seen those videos?
The
National Guard being deployed?
I haven't seen all of that, but I know because of all of the people flying around with Mexico flags and stuff like that. It's like I do know about all that.
Yeah.
We could talk more about that as we're kind of getting to the Musk and stuff, because technically speaking, I do have some stuff about Trump in California, so we'll definitely get into that. The other thing that I have that we didn't actually get to do at the beginning is I have a question for you.
I was thinking about that halfway through the episode. I was like, I never asked him about the question of the week.
I have a question.
What you got?
Would you rather sneeze pure confetti and forget one memory each time? I know it's a very odd question. Or hiccup fire and remember someone else's trauma? Now you don't feel the confetti and you don't feel the fire, so it's not like you're hurting yourself when you're doing these things.
But also you run the risk of catching something on fire if you hiccup fire. So, but also you lose one memory. But then also you don't want to gain the trauma of someone else. I feel like the fire and the trauma is just two negatives, whereas at least the confetti is harmless.
But you forget one memory each time, though.
Yeah, you might just have to live life on your own and just be hired for kids' birthday parties and just sneeze confetti for your living. That might be the route you have to take. I think you become a clown and you live on your own. Now the question is, how deep does that memory loss go? Do you forget the memories of your entire existence at some point? Maybe. Then you're just a sad clown that sneezes confetti.
Okay, well then let's go with this one then, because because it does seem kind of like you're just like it almost is like a negative on both terms, because you're either forgetting a memory or you're having trauma.
Well, also I'm just thinking if you hiccup fire, I don't want to catch a building on fire.
Exactly.
If you hiccup in a house, do you catch the house on fire?
So let me ask you this one then: would you rather be haunted by a ghost who makes amazing pancakes, or a demon who's really supportive of your career?
That's tricky. I'm trying to think of the implications and the longevity of the afterlife at this point. So if I were to pass, would my interactions with the demon actually halt or hinder my odds of getting into like a heavenly area versus just eating the pancakes of a ghost? But then also I feel like the demon could be witty. It could be fun to hang out with in terms of what's the demon doing? He's
just really supportive of your career.
Huh.
So, I mean, like, aside from that, who knows what else he's doing? Same for the ghost. Like, I'll be honest.
The ghost pancakes. Yeah, I think the ghost pancakes.
Yeah.
Because also, like, if the demon is supporting your career, it could even just be a career you don't like, but he's supporting something. You know what I mean? Like he's keeping you. He's keeping
your full
you.
potential.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at least like if you have a bad day at work and you come home and you got just a ghost that's just like, you want some pancakes, man? You look like you had a bad day. You're like, you know what? I think I will have some pancakes.
Yeah. And
You
even
know?
if it's just the weekends, hey, you get pancakes on the weekends, you know?
Exactly. You know, like
Yeah.
you get pancake, you literally have someone making you pancakes all the time, whether it's a good day or a bad day. You know, and very well, and like, and it doesn't have to be like the same pancakes. You could be like, you know what, make me a different pancake every single time. You know,
That is
I
true.
want a different recipe, but it has to be a good pancake. You know, it can't be because it says amazing pancakes. So, you know, obviously they're going to be amazing each time. So like, what's the ghost going to do with them? So I think I'd probably pick the ghost.
That is true. No, I think that makes sense. The ghost is the way to go on that one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So now the moment you've all been waiting for.
Okay. So
Trump and Musk.
Yeah. If anyone listening has actually been even remotely online over this past week, within the last 72 hours, basically, you've probably at least seen some mention of Trump and Elon Musk having a fallout, basically. I'll preface, we're about to try to run through the chronology of what took place, but none of us really know what's going on behind the scenes, at least not yet. Maybe we'll know in the coming days, coming weeks. We may never know. But here's what we know thus far. Trying to piece it together, I found a good thread on X here from the Vigilant Fox talking about how the Trump and Musk breakup is now official. For the first time, Trump spoke out after Musk blasted the big, beautiful bill, which is a spending bill that has passed the House, Congress, for those of you who aren't aware. It goes on to say, but here's the twist. Musk was watching live and firing back in real time on X, the social media platform he just so happens to also own. It says, what happened next was painful to watch. Trump said, look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. So where did this all start? This really kind of started whenever President Trump was hosting German Chancellor Friedrich Merz when a reporter asked him a question that immediately changed the energy in the room. And we have video of this. So let me play this real quick.
Thank you, Mr. President. The criticism that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, regarding Elon Musk and your big, beautiful bill, what's your reaction to that? Do you think it in any way hurts passage in the Senate, which, of course, what is you're seeking?
Well, look, you know, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country. We've never cut. It's about 1.6 trillion in cuts. It's the biggest tax cut. You would say, people's taxes will go way down, but it's the biggest tax cut in history. We are doing things in that bill that are unbelievable. And when you look at what we're doing for small businesses, for people, for middle-income people, all of the things that we're doing, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And, you know, Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and, you know, which was a lot of money for electric vehicles. And, you know, they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles, and they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And, you know, Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. That's been, I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning, Mr. Secretary. That hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that it disturbed.
So he went on to say this in public, and then Elon Musk followed up by saying, this is on X, he says, whatever, keep the EV and solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. So Trump goes on to then say this.
He wanted, and rightfully, you know, he recommended somebody from that he, I guess, knew very well. I'm sure he respected him, but to run NASA, and I didn't think it was appropriate. And he happened to be a Democrat, like totally Democrat. And I say, you know, look, we won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges we don't have to appoint a Democrat. NASA is very important. We have great people. General Kane is going to be picking somebody with our. We'll be checking him out, and seeing. But he wanted that person, a certain person, and we said no.
So, for those who aren't following the storyline here, Elon wanted to pick someone personally to run NASA. Elon also, in addition to owning X, owns SpaceX, which has a lot of government contracts to build spacecraft, rockets, etc., for the United States of America. One of which is very pivotal with taking supplies, people, stuff up and back from the International Space Station. So Trump said no to that. Elon got a little cranky about that. Then Trump was asked specifically about his relationship with Elon Musk.
Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it. Look, Elon.
So he's just saying, you know, hey, Elon liked me. I kind of liked him. Maybe not so much anymore. He went on to say this.
Great job. Elon knew that. Elon endorsed me very strongly. He actually went up in campaign for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. But they made a bad choice with him. But if you pick Shapiro or anybody else, I spoke to him recently about his house being set on fire, which was terrible. But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything.
So we want to say that. And then Elon came back and said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude. And then Elon went on to quote tweet one of the videos of Trump saying how he was very disappointed with Elon, one of the videos we just listened to. And Elon says, false. This bill was never shown to me, even once, and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. Back in the Oval Office, Trump said this.
He hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Mr. President, I just want to clarify, did he raise any of these concerns with you privately before he raised them publicly? And this is the guy you put in charge of cutting spending. Should people not take him seriously about spending now? Are you saying this is all sour grapes?
No, he worked hard and he did a good job. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office and he's got nice offices too, but there's something about this one. And he hasn't.
So Trump saying, you know, Elon gets out of Washington. He's a little upset about that. Goes on to say this real quick.
He's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But we have it with others too. They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different and they become hostile.
So Trump's basically saying Elon gets out of Washington, he misses it, etc. So this is how Trump is, at least in the public media, portraying why Elon has started to lash out at Trump. He also goes on to Truth Social. Trump's official account says Elon was, quote unquote, wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Trump goes on to say on Truth Social, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Elon goes on X to rebuttal saying, time to drop the really big bomb.
Now, I do remember seeing this.
Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Elon then goes on to follow up and say, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. In addition to this, you have Steve Bannon coming out and saying they should initiate a formal investigation of Elon's immigration status because he is of the strong belief that he is an illegal alien and should be deported from the country immediately. Steve Bannon said that in a phone interview. Bannon said that the Trump administration should also investigate Musk's drug use, as reported by The Times, and his effort to get a classified briefing on China from the Pentagon, which was also reported by The Times. Steve Bannon said Musk's security clearance should be suspended during these investigations. What's also interesting, Kanye, of all people, came out and tweeted during this moment and said, bros, please, no. We love you both so much. Now, people are wondering, I'll just show this image real quick. This is like modern art, basically. Trump and Elon with Kanye in the middle here. But people are wondering what's actually going on here. Like, where did this hostility come from? Truly. And so some people are pausing to say, hang on a minute. What if this is all fabricated just to get the media stirring? Because
well, that's the thing, and that's kind of what I was thinking, because they had no reason to hate each other realistically. If you think about it, I mean, Musk was hired to do a job. That job was the Doge, to pull out all the spending, find out where the spending is going bad, and try to find a way to get money back. Essentially, that was his job. Once that job was done, so think of it like another government contract. Once that job was done, he was finished. Like, he knew that job was going to end. Now, the whole like pulling the EV stuff, things like that. Now, I will say, when you look at lithium mines versus just straight up mining for oil, like, they both have their pros and their cons. But oil is what's going to carry this country for the next 100 years probably. And there's nothing to replace it. So it's like, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, is like, nobody's had a story. No news outlet has had like a major story. And they're thinking like, and I feel like Trump and them are thinking like, okay, well, what can we give them? What can we do? What can we show them? And this is probably the only thing that you can do that would really, bring people out to be like, oh my God, Elon doesn't support Trump anymore. But there's nothing really, I feel like there's just nothing really happening here.
Yeah. Now, here's a very quick clip from Megyn Kelly. Listen to what she says here, talking about her past relationship with Trump.
And it was really crazy, so crazy, Sean, because I walked out, we agreed, like, we're good. And the last thing he said to me before I walked out of Trump Tower was, Megyn, it's not such a good thing if they're not talking about us. And I was like, oh my God, was this whole thing for show? Like, was he acting the whole time?
Wow.
To generate buzz?
That's the thing though, is like that's Trump and that's Elon. Like that's what they do. And it's not even just them. It's not even just them. You have to think for the entirety of this election, and honestly for even like Biden's, presidency, nothing was interesting unless someone had a story about someone. Like that's the thing. And so it's like you have to think like they had stories about Trump and Elon and everything like that when he first got elected. But then as time progressed, the story started getting less and less. They stopped having stuff to talk about with them.
You want to make the story real interesting real quick?
Yes, I do.
From today, apparently, Elon Musk hit Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, quote, like a rugby player in a White House fight, according to Steve Bannon. This is from Zero Hedge. Long simmering tensions between Elon Musk and other members of the Trump administration exploded into physical violence back in mid-April, with Elon Musk aggressively shouldering Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Bessent battling back, according to a secondhand account from Trump political advisor and Musk despiser Steve Bannon. First reported by the Washington Post on Saturday, Bannon's tale comes amid a raging battle between Trump and Musk that's left Trump saying he has no desire to patch things up and assumes their relationship, which by all accounts played a decisive role in Trump's return to power, is over. Now, I don't know if you remember this. Elon had a black eye, basically, about a month ago. I don't know if you remember this. He was...
I don't.
Here, let me find this in real time real quick, because I can.
Ah.
Yeah. Here's the video, actually.
Okay, what happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so.
What does that mean?
No,
I didn't notice it.
First Lady of France. Getting slapped.
I didn't notice it.
So, yeah, no, I was just wasn't around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. Turns out, even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did.
Likely story after hearing some of this. Now, allegedly, but can't help but wonder, did Elon literally get physical with the Secretary of Treasury because they had a disagreement and like he was asked to leave because he literally got violent? It's one thing to disagree and disagree philosophically from like a policy standpoint, stuff like that, like using your words. But like if he legit tried to like, I don't want to say like, they said use a rugby move, like, I don't know, nudge him, tackle him, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he actually got physical with another member of the administration and Secretary Bessent fought back, that might be another reason why he got asked to leave. Allegedly.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest though, whenever he was asked about that, he kind of gave a very Trump-esque answer though. He didn't say for sure what happened, but he just kind of like, but either way, I mean, it's definitely some interesting stuff. I do honestly think that this was all planned out. It was all pre-orchestrated. I guarantee like this will probably last for like 2 weeks, maybe a month. And then the story is they reconciled and now Musk is back in doing his thing or doing some other kind of thing. Now I will say him wanting to appoint somebody to NASA, that kind of goes, I feel like, beyond the scope of his qualifications to do so. But I will say SpaceX has had a lot of success with a lot of stuff in the last 5-ish years.
They stepped in when Boeing couldn't go get those astronauts.
Exactly. So it's like, respectfully, hey, at least let him have a say in some form of capacity that would. Okay, I just thought I heard a siren there for a second and my heart dropped.
You are in tornado zone.
But we're good though.
Okay.
Is
it a tornado? Take off your headphones. See what you hear in real time. Is that the emergency siren? The anticipation. For those of you who are only listening in the future, Riley's very attentively listening right now.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, we can go ahead and wrap it up though, honestly, because I can't tell if that is or not.
No,
or if it's just someone driving down the highway. But
no, I mean that's good. I mean, so I say it's good. I don't know. It's good that you have sirens near you that can actually tell you when things are getting bad.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we can go ahead and end it here.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, no, for real though. For those of you still watching, listening out there, definitely in the comment section down below, let us know what your favorite story was. Let us know, is there anything that we should talk about in the next one? Because same time next week, ladies and gentlemen, 8:15-ish Central Standard Time, you can find Unscripted Company here. Worst case, go to unscriptedcompany.com. You can find all the fun links that take you to all the content. We love to hang out with you, talk with you. Hopefully, Riley will be here for next week.
Yeah.
Send good vibes his way. But until then, Riley, you want to give the listeners some words of wisdom as we send them out?
Just be safe. I'm about to go find out myself. So just hope to see you all next week. And yeah, have a great week, everyone.